Good evening. My name is Lewis Williams. I'm the creator and your host of Think About It Using Common Sense. It's very unfortunate, but today I find that common sense is no longer common. Today, I think people we do use their mind mostly to respond, and that's the I find the problem. Yeah. There's so much going on in the world today. We have the war in Ukraine, which is terrible as always. The innocent civilians, the uh, ones that get killed, or die, and all the property, their homes are destroyed. And the thing that gets me is whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, the end result is that the two are going to have to come together and come to some conclusion or some solution to end this war. So why drag it on for this long period of time? All these innocent people getting killed, dying, destroying all their homes. And the end result, excuse me, and the end result is you have to sit down and solve the problem and work it out. So why not do it now? Why not? What is the real cause of this war? Okay, we understand Russia do not want Ukraine to join the UN. They don't want America to have, based on, I'm no uh, person to have all this knowledge about the war. Hey, I don't. I only know what I'm hearing. And what I'm hearing is based on Russia. Russia does not want uh, missiles on their border. Okay, so why can't they work out something? They've been working out something up until now without missiles on them. So do it and save lives and move on. Uh, People in Ukraine, they're getting a lot of support. This war can drag on, but at the cost of how many lives and how much money. So I think they should really come to the table and sit down and work this thing out. And another thing I'm hearing a lot of talk about, Joe Biden. I'm hearing about Joe Biden isn't doing this, Joe Biden isn't doing this, Joe Biden is the cause of this. Look, I'm neither, at this point, I'm neither Democrat nor Republican, but I am an American first. I'm a veteran. So how is it that Joe Biden now has been in office using common sense? It's been in office, what, 14 months, 13, well, however many months it is. How is he going to be blamed for inflation that we're having? Uh, how is he going to be blamed for all the stuff that's or programs they say we're not getting or the overspending that he's doing? When at the same time, I don't see any support from the Republicans. Yeah, I'm like, keep in mind, I'm neither one. But at the same time, I'm using some common sense on this thing. Now, I mean, as far as the uh, pandemic is concerned, we right now we're taking the mask off. He came up with the stimulus money to help people. He came up with stimulus money for the businesses, small businesses. People came up. They got raises, increases. Which at the end of the day, all those increases that he did do, or that the small business people gave their employees, poor and the middle class paid for it. So I think we just need to really start thinking about stuff. Just stop being led around by this person tell you this person tell you that, and it's all, to me, it's opinions. But what are these opinions based on? And yet we have based our life on what somebody's telling us. I think we don't do enough thinking for ourselves, and at the same time, I think a lot of us really can't handle the truth. Anytime, I'm not against people making money, or millionaires, whatever, billionaires, make your money. But don't make it on the backs of the poor when they're not getting anything. You know, um, getting back to inflation, Joe Biden is, I don't think, common sense isn't the reason that gas is going up $5 or $6 a gallon. We still have plenty of oil. Are we losing oil? Is oil being depleted at such a rate from from Nigeria, from the Middle East, from this country, that the price of gas is increasing? I don't think so. People are making money. These oil companies are making record profits. I read somewhere during the pandemic, these major companies in Wall Street made record profits during these times where people are really hurting. But at the same time, that when you think about it, all this stimulus money that people got during the pandemic, right? Well, they spent it. They went right back to the rich. They own everything. That they gave you that money to spend. And when you really think about it, I think that stimulus money really helped this country get out of an economic bind. Because I don't think the economy was doing that great, based on what I'm seeing, based on what I'm hearing. It wasn't doing that great. Small businesses was hurting. So when people get money, it's not like these people was taking the money out of the country. So I don't know why people was griping so much. Oh, they got this for stimulus. They got it for, so what? They got it, but what they do with it? They spend it. They put it right back in this economy. So I think sometimes we need to stop and think about things before we just grab a stick and start running with it. We talk about crime, using common sense again. You're going to tell me, when all these top universities, all these professors that's majoring in psychology and this high education that deals with how people think and deals with the function of the brains and all this, you're going to tell me they don't know the solution or the reason, the cause for all this crime in the black neighborhoods? They don't know. They know. But it's gotten to the point we have to realize too that, listen, again, common sense. America, it's it's a capitalist country. It's about capitalism. It's about making money. And I think capitalism is a great system. I think it's a great system that they came up with. But it's greed that is the cancer of capitalism. And what they have done, they have taken their love for money and they put that above everything else. That's why sometimes I can't help but think when I read the Bible uh, and certain quotes in the Bible say that money is the root of all evil. Money is money. It's the people, what people do with money. It's the love of money, what people will do to obtain it. And it seems like they will do anything for it, but yet they don't even realize. And this is the sad part about it. People don't realize that life is not about money. We need it to live. The system, this economy needs it. We need money to function in this economy. So spread the wealth around. Well, when you got a person over here that got 200, 300 billion, 100 billion, you got a person over here making $750 an hour. $1 billion is $1,000 million. Let's think about that. $1 billion, 1 billion is $1,000 million. Now here's a person with 200 billion and still want more money. Not enough. Still don't want to pay this person. I don't understand. I don't have all the money you want. Have all the money you want. That means that's your thing. But don't do it on the expense of other people. Let people live. And getting back to what I was talking about, crime in the black neighborhood. You know, this isn't what we are seeing now. Isn't all of a sudden, black people just decide we're gonna start committing crimes. No, what we are seeing is a manifestation of what was or what not or what wasn't done years prior. These people out here on the street are not they're not college graduates out here on the street committing this crime. So we've let down education. That's what happens when you don't have quality education. And you don't teach people properly how to survive and separate the important things in life from the unimportant. The family values. They're missing family values. To sit down and have dinner at a certain time with the family and talk, how was your day, and get involved in their lives. This is missing. And it's no coincidence that drugs has been in these neighborhoods. And this is not new knowledge. I'm not the only one that's seeing this. People know, but guess what? It's profitable. You know what someone said? I was listening to him talk the other day, and they was telling me, they said, America is a business. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. It's a business. It's about making money. But at the same time, that's why, see, it took me a long time to realize that money is a tool. Money is a tool to be used, but it also helps the economy move forward. But you know, behind the fact that you have so much money in the hands of so few, that's one of the major problems. Because now you people you make money off everything. Crime. Just think for a minute. Just think for 1 minute now. If there wasn't crime in this city, there wasn't crime in the country. Look at the amount of money and jobs that crime generates. But yet, it's the poor that suffers on the bottom. And then at the top, oh, that's where the money is at. And these people making money. But it's okay. The system is fine, but just let people live, teach people, educate people. So instead of them crying, killing, and doing bad things, making money, educate them so they can do good things and make money. Prison system is a business. It's a business. The jails, the prisons, privately owned. But again, America is a business. I'm not here talking about how people are not to make money or if opportunity presents itself, but you don't make it on the backs of people. That's my whole point. You let people live. I mean, the way I'm thinking, this is just the way I think based on my life. I'm not sitting here telling anybody. I'm not telling anybody how to live, but what we see is the manifestations of how we've been living. So that tells me that, and I'm talking about as a whole. So that tells me we as a people, we haven't been doing the right things, or we need to go back and undo some of this stuff. But some of this stuff has already been laid that you can't stop it. You can't stop it. And I'm speaking on most of the stuff that I talk about, that I will be talking about. This is just the beginning of a lot. I have so much. I have so much uh, stuff to talk about, topics to talk about, using common sense. Um, I've written a book that I haven't published. I'm going to be talking about things, articles that I've written in the book. I'm going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about human beings. We're going to be talking about the mind because you know everything that's on the outside of us, everything is a replica of some function that's taking place within the human body. Where else can it come from? So the reason why uh, we are so materialistic is because we are living outside of ourselves for things. Let's take the uh, let's take the internet for an example. Where did it come from? You know where it came from? And when you think about it, it's just common sense. The internet is simply a copy of the nervous system in the human body. Think about it. I'm not going to explain it. I'm going to give you something to think about. It's the same. Where else could it come from? The mind, the human body, the atom. Let's take an atom for an example. An atom is the smallest particle and it has so much energy. There's within that atom, there's enough energy, scientific fact that I read about. I'm not a scientist, but I do have some common sense and I read this. In an atom, if I'm wrong, you can correct me. They say there's enough energy in one single atom. If that energy was properly released, could destroy a large building. One atom. An atom is an atom. Okay. Now the human body is composed of trillions of those same identical atoms. Okay. An organ is a group of cells doing the same function. So what I'm trying to say is if the human body, this is all this energy that we are composed of, all this energy we have in us. Okay. So just this alone, thinking about this alone can tell you that with this type of energy inside of ourselves, in our minds, that no one can tell you what the human body, what you can and what you cannot do. But for an example, you have a high performance car, Maserati, Lamborghinis, and parked in your driveway, and you don't know how to drive it. You know nothing about this car. What good is it? Nothing. Only thing you can do, maybe if you can know how to even open the door and get in it when the weather's raining or something, cold, to keep warm or something. But you know nothing about this car. And the point that I'm making to you, it's no good to you if you don't know how to operate. Now think of your body. Think of your body as a high performance automobile, and you know nothing about it. Nothing. And this is why we're in the situation that we're in. We're focusing on the outside when we should be focusing on the inside. I go back to the Bible again. Remember, there's a quotation in the Bible said, "Clean first the inside of the cup, that the outside may come clean thereof." So clean the inside, get the knowledge, know about yourself. And when you know about yourself, what's inside is going to manifest itself outside in your environment into anything, everything that you do. I heard a doctor on television, on the radio. She said she was talking about the nerves in the body, how the uh, nerves and the nerve centers in your heart, back of your heart, and the nerve centers in the pit of your stomach, how they're closely related, that they're systematic. So sometimes when you have indigestion, you might think you have a heart attack, which is they're closely related. And you know, when she said that, I laughed because that's metaphysics. I've been knowing that, studying that for the last 30 years. I knew that. Right. But see, we don't, she just said that. It was kind of blew my mind a little bit. But that's true. That's true. You see, what happens is, okay, I mean, this is me. I could talk about this all day, but I'm not. Let me just give you just another little analogy here. Um, Say for example, okay, we go to the gym. Everybody goes to the gym and they work out. Okay, you do this type of exercise, and you know what happens? Your body develops around the type of exercise that you do. It's just that simple. The same thing with your mind. Your body also develops around your mind, how you think, your thoughts, your beliefs. You see, that's why a lot of things, yeah, people just coming into the realization that, which is also again now, this is something that somebody wrote long time ago. You ever heard those saying? So you think, so are you. Absolutely right. It's common sense. It's simple, but it packs a lot of weight. That's a strong punch. But in order for these things to happen, you have to believe in it and you have to do it and you have to live it. You can talk and think all you want to do, but unless you live it and believe in it, it's giving you that spiritual faith, is giving you that spiritual muscle. You understand that your faith, the let's say the strength of your faith is giving you that power you need within your mind to trickle down to your body to make things happen. You know, like a person sometimes, uh, like for an example, let's see, a hard thought. Say a person concentrate on something hard, you get hard thoughts. These hard thoughts is what they can do. They can manifest themselves in your body as tumors. As a tumor. So we have to. I tell people all the time. People always, oh, watch what you eat. Watch what you eat. I always say, you know what? Watch what you think. It's also just as important what enter into your mind as what enter into your body. Okay? I don't. I mean, age to me means absolutely nothing. But as far as I know, I mean, I've been living there since the beginning of time because I don't. I can't pinpoint my birthday is a certain day, a certain year. I can't sit here and pinpoint tell you I remember starting living on that date. Now, as far as I know, I've been living here since the beginning of time. But I know one thing, I have never let sickness enter into my mind. And being on this planet 74 years, I have never been sick a day in my life, not even with a common cold. Am I better than anybody else? No. I'm made up of the same thing. My color is based on and how I am on the outside is determined on adaptation for my uh, ability, my body and my mind ability for me to survive in the part of the world that I was originated from. That's what determines uh, who I am or my color or what I look like. But my belief, you have to believe, never been sick. Now, have things happened to me in my sure. But guess what? My body got that. It may sound weird, but I live it and I believe it. And I'm no different from anybody else. But we have to change our whole mentality, our whole way of thinking. Whole way of thinking. You know what I mean? You have to take like okay, it's not funny, but it's very serious. But you have to have a strong mind and a strong will. You have to understand your body. You have to understand your thoughts and how to visualize things, how to mind travel. Because everything is in your mind. Everything. I've experienced that. Everything. So um, it's important, and we don't people don't think enough. They don't value life, man. They don't value life. They don't value what they do because guess what? The law, the universe, there are universal laws. There are laws that govern everything. And how people think they're not going to be held accountable. That's just the way you think. And because you think you're not going to be held accountable, it doesn't mean you're not going to be held accountable. And this is what people missing out. I wrote an article. Let me see if I can find the title of it. I wrote an article in my book. And let's see. Oh yeah, I have it right in front. And the title of it is when you talk about life, because people just really don't value life, and life is the most important, the most valuable thing on the planet. Everything. What makes water so valuable? Because it sustains life. What makes food so valuable? It sustains life. What makes shelter so valuable? It sustains life. Life is what puts value to things, and it seems to me it's the one thing people don't care about. This is the title. Listen to this now. This is the title of an article I wrote, and it says, "If people only knew death is not the ending, but the beginning." Yeah. See, this physical. I'm gonna just get on this a little bit because I'm just starting this podcast of common sense. We're going to get deep. We're going to answer all questions. We're going to use our minds. We're going to use our bodies. We're going to develop. We're going to change. We're going to change our world if you want to change. If you don't, if you want to value life, if you want to live, if you want to be happy, you can live as long as you want to live. But there's rules, there's things that you have to do, the way you have to think to do it. And once you acquire a certain level of consciousness where death doesn't exist, that's it, man. That's it. Because at the end of the day, your consciousness doesn't die, does it? Your body, and this, I'm not going to get too deep with this, but The body is just a manifestation of the brain. It's a uh, it has developed. The body is just what your brain or what your consciousness need to survive in this physical world. That's all. That's what we are. Everything develops around this environment, and that's based on life adaptation, how we manifest over time based on what we need to survive. But what we have chosen to do, we have chosen to live outside of ourselves based on this physical world that we live in. So in this physical world, then there are things different in a physical world than a spiritual world. There are two worlds, but just because you don't have any knowledge of it doesn't mean that world doesn't exist. Just because if you have say you got a million people telling you to go right, that's the correct way to go right. Doesn't mean that's the correct way. You could just have a million people going the wrong way. We haven't been taught that. We haven't taught. We have to be taught to use logic, to use our minds, and to think about things. Don't just respond. And that's why you know people, when you realize that the most important thing that you have in this earth, in this universe, is your life and your existence, and you are here for a reason. You got to also remember that there's all different types of life forms on this planet, all different types. Now, I'm gonna get into that another day, but all different types of life forms. Why are we human and not that, not that, not that, not that? And where did that come from? Where did that come from? What is that? What is that? It's a lot of questions. It's too many. It's too many unanswered questions for us to accept death and this way of life so easily. Because now, when you are alive, okay, we'll say this, then we will get on to another subject. When you're alive, you are the captain of your ship. You understand? You can think about this if you want to. When you are alive, you are the captain of your ship. But when you are no longer in this physical body is gone. You are no longer the captain of the ship. And I'm gonna leave it right there. Okay. So now, uh, what else should we talk about? Let's talk about relationships. Let's touch on that because this is something people do whatever you want to do. Excuse me. I'm not again. I say I'm not here to tell anyone how to live because at the end of the day, you are responsible for you, and you have to answer for whatever you do, however you think, whatever you do, you have to answer for it, not me. But I can tell you things based on what I have learned. Why I'm here telling you, why I'm here doing this? Guess what? I love people. I find that my way of life and my way of thinking has worked for me and has continued to work for me. I feel great. I don't know anything about any pain or any stress or anything. I'm just as happy as I would be. I feel like I can't tell you the difference between how I feel now as when I felt when I was 24 years old, 30 years old, 15. Of course, as you get old and you work and you've been on here, you're doing something, you're gonna have a little wear and tear, but that's normal. You don't give in to it. If anything, seniors should be Seniors should be sharp. You should be able to live and you learn something and put that to use. You shouldn't be uh worked your whole life and your savings and you got to spend all your savings to take care of yourself in hospitals and stuff like that. That's crazy. It shouldn't be that way. But you have to remember something. A seed, a seed that's planted in contaminated soil will bear contaminated fruit. It's just that simple. We have got to change our way of living, change our way of thinking. But again, America is a business. Everything is a way of making money. Everything. Or your health. They put your health first? No. Cigarette smoking, for example. When the first cigarette rolled off the press, common sense should tell you cigarette smoke is bad for you. It does. And the only reason people smoke for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, adaptation. It becomes a part of your body. The younger, say for example, a child starts smoking cigarettes at 12. Okay? Start smoking pot at 12, for example. As your cells develop, okay, common sense, as your cells develop, this nicotine and this THC or whatever's in pot, it's developing right into your cells of your body. So that's why it's so difficult. That child may never quit smoking because it's part of their DNA now. So you don't do that stuff. You don't. I mean, that for every action there's a reaction, and it's time for people to realize that this life is real and there's consequences for everything that you do if you want to live. That's what you got to make up your mind what you want to do. And you can. You can live as long as you want to live, and you do not have to get sick. I am living proof of that. But there's things that you have to do. And we still get me. I'm not, you don't have to step outside and not do this and not, but moderation. Moderation. If you have a dinner, you can what have a serving. You don't have to sit down and eat a half a chicken, eat a half a chicken or 5 servings of this and 5 servings of that, because your body going to tell you to eat it until you can't eat no more. Because you're functioning on your taste buds. Anytime, that's another thing. Anytime that you go around and say, oh man, I'm gonna eat it, that tastes good. Does that make sense? You eat something simply because it tastes good? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. But we do it. And that's where obesity and stuff comes in. Sugar is one of the most addictive sweets, one of the most addictive things going, more addictive than cocaine. The reason why I know it, I eat very little sugar now. But one time when I stopped, got off of sugar, man, I'm like a junkie. But that's what it is. Your body gets addicted to this stuff. And when you really think about it, your whole life is nothing but a bunch of accumulated habits that have mapped out your life for you. Habits. So that's what we are. And these are something other things that we're going to talk about. I have a um, I'm also a life consultant. Solutionconcepts.com/engage. You can key that up and come into my office, make an appointment. We can talk one on one. Do that. I also have an online newspaper. I want to write. I'm a writer. I like to write. So I figured, I said, hey, but guess what? I can't write on the regular news channel. So you know what? I'll create my own online newspaper. I can write as much as I want when I want and have other people to write. The newspaper is called the Daily Prism. You see? Um, so now this is what I really like to do. This is I think everything I did in my life has led up to think about it using common sense. Because think about it, this is where everything originates. Common sense, this is what the universal instinct that we have to get. And to allow that to come in, we have to detoxify ourselves. We have to stop eating all this junk. If start slowly, you don't have to do it all at one time. And when you think about it, you know, do we need to eat 3 meals a day? We be eating too much. Think about it. Think about the time, the time, the length of time that your digestive system is working based on what you eat. You eat a heavy breakfast, you got meat, all this stuff in it. Before you do that, you're eating lunch. You got all that stuff before you finish digesting that. You're eating lunch. You might eat a snack in between. Nighttime, you might eat a piece of steak or something which might take 18, 20 hours. Your digestive system is running all the time. Think about your car parked out there in your drive. You just keep it running all the time. You don't do that. You turn it off. If it's running, you turn it off. You check the oil. You check to see if your oil getting low. You check your oil. You see, you make sure you got the proper amount of air in your tires. You do all that, but yourself, you just don't care. You just let it run, and next thing you know, in the hospital, you got a heart attack. You got this. You got that. You got this. Hey, it doesn't have to be. Everything that's here for you, good to you, is not good for you. And it's up to you to take control of your mind and your body. You take care of your mind, your mind's gonna take care of your body. So, but anyway, I want to get back. I just want to touch it. That's one thing. So we have so much we're going to talk about everything that's happening constantly every day, and we're going to get into stuff just about relationships for a minute. I want to talk about that. Uh, the young our young people are really uh, they're missing the boat with this. They're missing the boat with this. I think sex is playing too big a part in relationships. Sex is not fun, even though you know I'm saying I've learned. I may have traveled down that path, but I learned it's not it's not for fun. Um, Sex is an expression, a real expression of love. Uh, if when you really think about a relationship, you know, the most enjoyable times in your relationship, you know, was when it was kept free of sex. You understand? And it's not something that, you just go out and you party and you do and you wind up in bed and you're doing it. No, that's not what it's, even though we do it, but it's not. And there's been repercussions for what we have done or the lifestyle that we live. There's repercussions for that. Everything's come from something. I'm not telling anybody how to live, but I'm telling you, it's and people. Oh, let be your friend. Be your friend. Have things in common. Do things, not just oh, we're going out, we go out party, we jump in the bed and this and that. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, you're fighting, you're arguing, you're doing this, you're doing this. You're young, you can't. It's, you have your whole life ahead of you. have your whole life ahead of you. And it's time to live it while we still can. Because now, I mean, it's just something to think about. I'm just throwing things out there to think about. And the climate. This planet is so this planet is so messed up. I couldn't even tell you. Excuse me, that was my phone. Um, Talking about the climate, we have polluted big business, out of greed and money, no regards for nature, humanity. All they wanted was money. Country's dying. Country's dying at the same rate humans are becoming extinct. The oceans are dying. This is no joke. There was a there was a there was a prior civilization here on this planet. Just for an example, um, let's take the pyramids for an example, right? So they say right now, okay, they don't if we don't understand how the pyramids was built with such precision and how they was carried over these long stretches of dry land, how they got them up uh, the height of the pyramids. Well, when you think about a civilization that was wiped out, okay, now think about this civilization being wiped out, and over however many years, a new civilization comes on the scene, and they see remnants of a bridge out in the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. They just see something standing up out there. And behind the fact it's a new civilization, that means you don't have any intelligence. All that intelligence has to be created as life moves forward. So you'll see that you say, oh my, how did that happen? How did they do that? They must have been Martians. They must have been from outer space or something. So this is the perception that there was space people. When in all actuality, it wasn't, except the space people, the people that was created on this earth. And that's why you would have that. How was that done? Like the pyramids. How was that done? Sure, that was a civilization far superior to us. Because if it wasn't, we could figure it out. You see, just like even now, I look at these buildings. They build them with these tall cranes all the way up and down. I'm in the stories. I'm saying myself, how in the world they get them up there? And I'm living now. So it's explanations. But the thing about it is we need to learn, focus on life, start doing things. You have to do things. Just don't live your life for money because there's more to life than money. And we'll give you this example. I'm getting ready to quit now in a minute because I got 10 more minutes. Okay. But anyway, you know, we don't know. People think money is it. You spend your whole life to get to acquire money, to acquire wealth, to acquire things. You want these things because you never had them. You think these things is going to give you the satisfaction or the happiness that you want. But happiness, in reality, happiness is within yourself. But getting back to my point, what's happening is because you never get the amount of money that's in front of you. Excuse me, because you never get that amount of money that you think is going to satisfy you and give you that happiness. You spend your whole life working for it. Now, Think about this for a second. You know how a greyhound race is ran? Okay, they have these greyhound dogs in this behind these lines in these racing bins, whatever you call them. And they have a rabbit. They have a fake rabbit with the scent of a rabbit on a pole attached to a truck or car or whatever. And they turn these dogs loose and they speed that rabbit down the track. And the dogs be running like crazy trying to catch it, not knowing it's a fake rabbit. That's how they get the dogs to run. If the dogs knew that was a fake rabbit, they wouldn't run. But they're not allowed to catch it to find out. That's what keeps them running. And that's kind of what it is with people. You know, people be trying to catch that fake rabbit, thinking it's a real rabbit, but it's fake. You know, you can make money and acquire things in life, but life should not be like this. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be. We don't have to hate one another. We learn from each other. But the reason why things are this way is because guess what? You don't, I'm uneducated, okay? I'm uneducated. That's how I've been uneducated. I look, all I see is violence on the screen or violence here. Then you show me stuff on the on television where these rich kids got all this glory, the cars and the pretty girls and all this stuff. You understand? But yet you dangle this in front of my face. There's guns and stuff out there that I can get. Show me, then you show me robbing uh, movies where people rob and steal and get this and get that for the good life. And here I am with no education. I see this. What do you think I'm going to do? Then you're going to look at me and point me this person this way, this way, this. Well, why are these people that way? Who are the blame? There's enough blame to go around. What we need to do is clean it up, solve the problem. And it's unfortunate, just like it's unfortunate how innocent people get caught up in wars. And it's unfortunate that a generation of people may be lost. Not all, but some can be saved. But this planet, we don't even know if this planet gonna be here the next 60 years from now. We don't. We don't based on the condition that this planet is in. We don't know. We really don't. But this planet, America, is a young planet, but we've destroyed it. We've destroyed it. And I'm gonna get into these politicians another day. But don't tell me that the same process that elected you as president, and because someone else wins, get more votes than you're gonna tell me all of a sudden it's rigged, and because this person that lost has a lot of votes, and you feel like if you go against him, even though you know what he's doing is not true, it's not honesty. You can see the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And you're going to abandon the American people. You're going to abandon the Constitution. You're going to abandon the Bill of Rights. You're going to abandon the God that you put your hand on the Bible and swore to take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and serve the American people. You're going to abandon all that and then come back and talk about you're going to win something and another. And how in the world you should even run? Your head should be hung in shame. I don't even understand that. I don't understand. And I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican, but I'm not stupid. I don't understand. Just because you have money, just because you have more money than me, that means you're better than I am? No. That could mean you could be more dangerous than me. For real, for real. And I'm gonna put this on this. You know what makes a person, one individual, better than another? As far as what, based on what I have learned, is what an individual have, or what an individual can do as far as helping humanity. You understand? Because otherwise, I mean, you know better than anybody else just because you have money. But if I got a person over here that's doing something for humanity and doing something over here for people and doing something for this and that, and I got a person over here that's doing nothing, and if somebody had to go, well, guess what? You got to go over here. You got to go. Well, even if you got a lot of money over here, but if you're a threat to society, you're not doing anything. I'm just saying. I'm not saying any everybody. No, nobody's going anywhere. I'm not saying that. I'm not even implicating that. The only thing I'm saying is we should all do more for humanity. We all can do something. We all human life should be respected. That's all I'm saying. And it's a shame that we have so many children. So many children are suffering today in hospitals, in homes. They've been killed. They're suffering because of what we are doing. And I'm going back to the Bible again. It says your children should pay what your mothers and your fathers did. They're innocent. We're all to blame. We need to clean it up. And on that note, I'm gonna tell you this is my first full think about it using common sense podcast, but it's only the beginning. And also you can take text messages. Um, we can do that as I'm speaking, but I think this is like the first of the full ones. Um, I'm trying to come in every day at 6 o'clock, but sometimes it's going to be difficult. So it may be every other day or whatever, but you always can tune in at 6 o'clock. If I'm going to be in, I will be on at 6 o'clock. So I thank you. I don't know how many people's watching, but I'm doing this for me. I'm getting the feel. I'm getting out here. If you were watching, I want to thank you so much and enjoy it and have a wonderful, wonderful night.